Ignacio, Katipunero, sugod, todo sa kayon, tulong at tulong.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill, down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo Katipunan, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Katipunero, sugod, todo sa kayon, tulong at tulong. Lipat na Blue Eagle, galing giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
Checking out the latest happenings in, around, and beyond Katipunan. This is the Katipunan Roundup. Katipunan Roundup.
Everyone, welcome to the Katipunan Roundup. We're on the voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Yes, how's it going? Hope you guys are having a fantastic Wednesday afternoon. This is, of course, the Katipunan Roundup, where we bring you the ins, outs, and all abouts of the place we call home, Katipunan Avenue. It's currently March 29, 2023, a Wednesday as usual. It's the middle of the week. Hope you guys are still strong. I know I'm not. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, we are currently live on 87.9 FM within Ateneo, as well as on Zeno Radio at zeno.fm/RK879FM, and on the Zeno Radio app. We're also live on stream on our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages. We have, for today, people from Ang Mga Kahon, one of the fine arts thesis for this season. But before we get to that, let's go through some of the events happening around the Ateneo. So at first I think we have to address the elephant in the room, which is, of course, the looming strike of the Ateneo Employees and Workers Union. The strike, as they said, could have started at March 26, this Monday at the earliest. So it could happen at any time. Because of the strike that could happen at any moment, the Ateneo Comelec has decided to move the voting period that was originally set to happen this week. Here's the new schedule for the Sanggo elections. March 27 to 31, this week has become Discernment Week in an effort to discern on which candidates to vote for, as well as talk about and discuss the situation of the CBA between AWU and the administration. April 2 to 8 is Holy Week. April 10 will be the removal of all campaign paraphernalia. So for all the candidates out there, by April 10, every single pub mat for your campaign must be gone. 11 to 14th of April and April 17 will be the electoral proper, so that will be the new voting period. On April 20, the initial results will be released. The day after, on April 21, the final results of the general election. For more information, you can follow Ateneo Comelec or any of the members of the Confederation of Publications. Still on the strike, several students and faculty of the Ateneo have organized a multi-sectoral kwentuhan on the issue concerning the Collective Bargaining Agreement, or CBA, between the Ateneo Employees and Workers Union, or AWU, and the Ateneo administration. This comes days after over 100 Ateneo faculty members and over 1,000 Loyola School students signed open letters from their respective sectors, responding to the imminent strike and the administration's response. A few days ago, student and faculty gathered at Xavier Hall to deliver these letters, followed by a meeting with the AWU members. That same day, AWU met up with the administration to discuss the CBA, and their next meeting is slated to happen after Holy Week. This multi-sectoral kwentuhan will be at the Leong Hall Auditorium tomorrow at 4 to 6 p.m. That's tomorrow, Leong Hall Auditorium, 4 to 6 p.m. Tagpi is Heights Ateneo's two-day literary and art exhibit that weaves together literary and visual art. The exhibit showcases previous contributions to Heights folios that have been woven together, as well as interactive activities so you can weave your own stories. This exhibit will be on March 29 and 30, so today and tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the MVP lobby. Mando Pop Music Festival. Salon's Music Festival is back for its 4th season. The finalists that will be performing at the Mando Pop Music Festival are the following: JCAHS Band, Jun's Angels, Joy Tu, Maxine So, Ranika, and Umak Jammers. The event will take place tomorrow at 5 p.m. at the Bellarmine Field. There's a lot of things going on at Bellarmine Field. I was just there last week for Natsumatsuri. We'll talk about that later. But to sign up for Mando Pop, to be able to attend, you go to tinyurl.com/MDP2023 registration. That's tinyurl.com/MDP2023 registration. The time now, 42 seconds past 4 p.m. It's March 29, Wednesday. ASEC is having Global Crossing, an IR Expo. It's a 2-day expo where you can hear from impactful leaders from around the world, learn more about ASEC's Global Talent Program, and sign up for opportunities from other parts of the world. The expo happens tomorrow, March 30 and 31 from 5 to 7 p.m. This event will be fully online, and to register, you go to bit.ly/GC registration form. The registration is open until tomorrow at 4 p.m. For inquiries, you can email them at irexpo2023@gmail.com. Finally, the Church of the Jesu invites everyone to attend their Holy Week and Easter Triduum activities that are happening next week. On April 2, a Palm Sunday Mass at 10:30 p.m. My script says p.m., but I'll have to check on that. Let's talk about the other masses first. On April 6, the Mass of the Lord's Supper at 4 p.m. with Father Ben Nebres, SJ, assisted by Reverend Carlo Lacang, SJ. Ayun, okay. Medyo nagkamali, may typo sa script natin. But on April 2, the Palm Sunday Mass, 10:30 a.m. I don't think you guys are going to go to Mass 10:30 p.m., but 10:30 a.m., presided by Father Pat Falguera, SJ. April 6, once again, Mass of the Lord's Supper, 4 p.m., Father Ben Nebres, SJ, assisted by Reverend Carlo Lacang, SJ. On April 7, celebration of the Lord's Passion, that's Good Friday, 3 p.m., presided by Father Ro Atilano, SJ, boss namin. And then on April 8, Easter Vigil, that's Black Saturday. Easter Vigil at 8 p.m., presided by Ateneo President Father Bobby Yap, SJ. For more information, you can visit the Facebook page of the Church of the Jesu. Ayan. So But those are some of the events happening around Ateneo. If you would like your event to be featured, or if you would like to guest on this show, like these people did, who we're going to be talking to later, you can email us at radyokatipunan@gmail.com. Yan. The time now, 4:02. We'll be talking to some of the people behind Ang Mga Kahon in a while. But first, let's have a few commercials. Tell you about some of the programs that we're having. Say hello again once again to the people listening at 87.9 FM and on zeno.fm/RK879FM. The roundup continues right after this.
This is the Katipunan Roundup. Katipunan
We fight to the fight, fight to the right. We fight to the fight, fight to the right. We fight to the fight, fight to the right. We fight to the fight, fight to the right. Hey, one bang, one bang, one bang. Fight, fight, do it right. Go, go. Ateneo, sis, pupa. Fight, fight, do it right. Go, go. Ateneo, sis, pupa. Fight, fight, do it right. Go, go. Ateneo, sis, pupa. Team, team, team.
Tara na't simulan ng inyong umaga sa mga magagandang refleksyon tungkol sa ating buhay at pananampalataya. Kasama sina Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, Father J. Boy Gonzales at Father Nono Alfonso ng Kapisanan ni Jesus, Father Cali Llamado ng Manila Cathedral at Binibining Risa Sinson Kaupeng ng Light of Jesus Community dito sa Kapit Pandasal sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Follow at Radyo Katipunan in our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Rejoice, refresh, renew, and reflect. Join us for an hour of music that uplifts the soul. Listen to your favorite Jesuit music ministry artists. This is JMM Radio. JMM Radio. Get your day's dose of inspirational music. Tune in to JMM Radio every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Jesuit Music Ministry. Music that uplifts the soul. Follow JustCom PH on Spotify and JustCom Music on YouTube. We're also on iTunes and Deezer.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Hello mga Katipuneros. This is Father Ro Atilano SJ. Listen to our serving stories that will inspire you and keep you going. Kaya, tara na! At nasapin ang masarap na timpla ng buhay. Welcome po kayo sa The Parable Cafe every Tuesdays at 3:30 p.m. only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9.
Bahala sa iyo, kaibigan ko.
Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Checking out the latest happenings in, around, and beyond Katipunan. This is the Katipunan Roundup.
We're back on the roundup. Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM, the voice of the Blue Eagle. I'm Ricaforte. Welcome back. Our guests for today. So today is the premiere of many theses at the Ateneo Fine Arts Department, and one of them joins us at the roundup. It's actually very funny because during the first episode, I shouted out one of the fine arts theses, and then I wasn't able to shout out this one. I guess it slipped off the radar, and then I got an email from that thesis production. They were like, "Hi, would you like to be a media partner for our thesis?" And then I checked, and there was like, "Oh my god, I forgot to mention them." But it's okay because they're here now. So joining us are some of the members from Ang Mga Kahon Ang Mga Kahon ni Rolando Tino. Yun. So, last week we got to talking to people from Tartuffe, which was translated into Filipino by Tino, but this one is one of his works. So, Ang Mga Kahon is a play written by national artist Rolando Tino that won the third prize under the English division in the 1972 Palanca Awards. I hope I did my research correctly. His production is the directing thesis of Kat Batara, the former artistic director of Ateneo Blue Repertory, and is under the supervision of Sir Charles C. So, the play premieres tonight and runs until this Saturday, April 1. Now, here's the thing. I would tell you guys where to buy tickets and where the event's gonna be. But the problem is, it's sold out.
Exactly.
Yay. Yun, so, let me intro you guys first before I get to my first question. We have, starting from my right, Yaya Ilaga, the costume designer. We also have Chris Lucy, that's the manager, and we have Jimmy Gabriel, who's played Mandy in Ang Mga Kahon. So, first off, let's talk about, you guys got sold out Monday. I was supposed to buy a ticket. Oh well, that's on me. But anyways, how does it feel? Because you guys found out we have no more tickets to sell, sold out na. How do you guys feel about that?
Pressure. I think it's super frustrating because was super fast. We only started selling tickets a few weeks back, or maybe like last week lang. I'm not entirely sure, but when we were going through like rehearsals and like technical dress rehearsals last week, we were all like parang, oh, like we're selling some tickets, and then over the weekend it's been like our front of house head, si Dana Lee.
Shout out Dana.
She kept on updating us like by the hour na parang March 31 is limited na lang, and then April 1 is sold out, and March 31 sold out, and then we're like, oh, so we're sold out, and then so now we're sold out, and we're very thankful. Despite the pressure, we put a lot of heart. We're more than confident to put on a good show, but the pressure's still there. Sold out without before opening. So lots of audience members to please and hopefully leave impact on.
I understand the pressure is also great for you, right? Kasi like your costumes are going to be featured tell us about like the work that goes into making these costumes, because people usually talk about yung mga like cast or like the director, producer, but tell us about the work that goes into being a costume designer.
I guess for this production in particular, it's pretty small cast, pretty intimate cast. So, and it's a what's it called? It's a one act play. Yeah. So it's only in one space. An apartment, and not a lot of changes, but I think it was like a different experience, like sourcing the costumes, because we wanted them to feel lived in. We wanted it to look personalized to some extent, using what the actors already have and trying to like what do you call this? Put it into the narrative, like bring out some of each of the characters through the actors and through what they wear. So yeah.
I like that the sort of resourcefulness into because I understand like thesis productions are very hard to do. I did one last year, yung kay Andy Villegas. And I understand like the pressure into like, especially since online kami, so it was like finding like different things in the household mismo to sort of put into the play. So ayun. And you said na it was to sort of bring out sort of the characters. So I wanted to like transition to you, Jimmy, because like you play Mandy. Tell us about your character. Because like actually tell us about the play first, and then tell us about your character.
Okay. So Ang Mga Kahon is centered around Joy, who was tasked to look after Bernie in this apartment. And it's essentially a slice of life, but in the worst way possible. It's worse than a slice of life. Because in K-dramas, diba, sometimes slice of life is like really light themes, ganyan, really.
K-dramas, anime, that kind of thing.
Yeah, slice of life concepts are like pretty chill. But this one is, it's what was the term you used kanina?
Like sinister.
A sinister slice of life. Because there's like stuff brewing beneath like what you see on stage. So, ayun, like even when I read the script for the first time, I had a hard time like really grasping what it was all about. And then we did a lot of script reading, going back and forth through the lines, and every single time we did that, we discovered something new in the script. So parang, ayun, parang going back to the show itself, it's a very complex mishmash of themes that I think are still relevant today.
Yeah, a lot of like things to unpack.
Yes,
maybe,
for sure.
or you can say a lot of boxes to open. Anyway, yeah. So one of the aspects of this play, which is mentioned always, like in all the formats, was that this is a standing play.
Yes.
I would like to ask, why is it a standing play?
Can we talk about? Yes, we can.
We can talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Well, with the set designed by obviously one of the most talented set designers here in Ateneo, Mixtata Toviera, with the set that he designed, it just felt right for a standing play to be appropriate. And we consulted with Kat, the director, Kat Patara, about it. We were like, maybe we can put chairs. So, because hardly you've ever seen like people stand up for an hour for a theater production, then like just end up standing up for the entire show. But then she was very sure that she wanted to be standing up. And I'm not gonna spoil anything that's gonna be happening in the play itself, but I feel like it does add to the themes that the play tackles, especially the ones concerning surveillance, which is
Yes.
a key aspect that you also see in a lot of our publication materials here in the prod.
Yes, because I saw like there's some like
The
thinking,
the
you know,
CCTV
understand.
aesthetic, as well as the kind of like the eerie vibe of just like looking into something that you're not supposed to be looking into.
And like it's understandable kasi ano eh, think about it, standing for 1 hour, like it does relay that message of like, cause it's apart from like it's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? And I think the whole play centers around you can't be comfortable because the whole play is not meant to be comfortable. As you said, you guys said it's a sinister slice of life. Yun. So I understand that the production is like very yun nga, there's a lot of aspects to it. Like it's I understand there must have been a lot of like difficulty in like producing this. You guys are experimenting with a lot of things. The standing pa lang, the surveillance aspect of it. Tell us about some memorable moments from the production of this play.
For me, I think the most memorable part of the whole thing, because this is my first time acting in like a theater. So going through the motions of like being mentored and like being directed and like applying all of that direction into my acting, really, it challenged me to like tap into the side of myself, because I have worked mostly in like film productions behind the scenes. I've written stuff. I have even directed stuff, but I was never one to be in front of the camera, much less being on stage acting in front of like an audience. So when Kat tapped me to play Mandy in this production, I was flabbergasted, discombobulated. Yeah.
Sorry, we're on broadcast. Simple. So that's kasi that was also my situation.
Yeah.
No theater background whatsoever, and then like in terms of like like literally improv, which is like there was no script to memorize. Cause I'll be honest, I did improv because I hated memorizing. So I would just like just make stuff up. Sure, why not? But yeah, so I understand the feeling of flabbergast.
Yeah.
As well as discombobulate.
Exactly. So yeah, that's definitely entire thing is very memorable for me, and I hope this launches me into something that I may not have expected.
Star magic,
perhaps. Listening.
Sparkle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's then because yun nga, like hopefully like I'm sure na you being cast into this, it means, I'm sure it should mean something, diba? Na you have that talent that is within you. It's internal. It's sort of like that thing of I can't remember if I talked about this last episode. So if you guys watched last episode, whoops. But I did talk about sort of how the statue of David, Michelangelo's statue of David, one of the most iconic statues, was already really in that piece of marble or that piece of granite. And all Michelangelo had to do was the tap.
Right. Like he brought it out.
He brought it out. Did you feel like that, when, Kat was directing you in that process?
Well, I wouldn't say... Wait, humble kasi ako. No, but si Kat talaga, she really helped me. Kasi so the thing was, I sat in one of the rehearsals, and I was like, before I confirm my participation in this prod, I first want to see like how things are in rehearsals pa lang. And then that night, I confirmed with Kat na, okay, I'm G to this. I'm G to, perform as Mandy, but I ask of you one thing, to please be patient with me because I have no experience in this whatsoever. And, Kat delivered. Like, she's very patient with me, and she brought me through the whole thing of, like, internalization, taking direction. So, yeah, anything that people see, anything that people see me perform, definitely Kat brought into me. Wait, Kat brought out of me.
He embedded in you, but also brought out of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two-way street.
Yun. For you guys naman, memorable moments from behind the scenes, behind the
first.
stage.
I can go first. Yeah. I guess like as costumes designer and also like costumes head, I work with Chachi. Shout out Chachi. And I guess like even if we were using a lot of what the actors already had, we also had to source a lot and go to like different ukay places to like try to buy clothes and like find what works and what fits. So it's like the lived-in-ness of it all. I think one day we both went out a lot, like not a lot, but a handful of times to buy clothes together. It was fun, like the experience of, will this fit? Will this work? Does it fit with the rest of the cast as well? So that when you see them, they all look like they belong to one story. And thinking that up with her and working with her to get these clothes and bring the vision and also Kat's vision to life was really fun.
Trying to make the most out of every trip na parang,
Yeah.
this could work. This could work. Yeah.
Managing to clothes.
Okay, kasi diba? It's not arranged. So it's like, it's that thing of like shuffling through and seeing what could work and finding that gem in the midst of it all.
And there were gems.
Shout out overalls.
Shout out
Yes.
those two overalls.
Needles in the haystack.
Christian, any memorable moments?
Because being the production manager, I was probably one of the first people that Kat enlisted to help in the prod. So I would say the entire process of building the prod from the start, from the ground up, and then seeing how it is now was insane to look at. And it's also like a lot of it is also thanks to Kat. And like I'm not kissing. I'm not like just gassing her up like naman because she's my director. But in all honesty, Kat's artistic vision and how deliberate she is with the choices that she makes made the production experience very memorable. And I would say painless. Like she knows what she wants and she knows how to get it. And when she translates that vision to you, you kind of get it na rin. So your job is like infinitely easier. So when we were looking for people to be heads, this is what Kat wanted. This is who Kat saw. And I was like, okay, let's ask. And then we got it. We got the heads, we got the members, we got the cast. Then we got the A-team, like comprised of like people like Sir Tata Taviera for set design, Carlos Bueno for sound design, Rafa Sumilong for lighting design, Mita Davila for dramaturgy. Shout them out right now just because they're all A-team. And D'Angeli for graphic design.
Miss Dana.
Yeah, that's the other Dana. So when we managed to round all of these people up and then we saw everyone's work na, like like Rai and Chachi's costumes, Dana's vision for publicity, Sir Tata's great set design, and knowing that it's also coming from Catherine, like Kat's own work on her thesis back in first semester when she was still envisioning what the thesis could be, and then just seeing it be translated through different mediums has been amazing to work at. I also work as a props head, so yeah, being seeing it from an overseer position, from the production manager position, and then seeing it on the ground as a props head has been very rewarding and very artistically challenging to see rin. Kasi parang you don't get to see a production like it every other day because it's so experimental. It's very different.
She's not like other girls.
She's not like other girls.
It's giving.
Yeah.
It's giving.
Experimental, even.
Yeah, and like the whole aspect of, like the whole like premise of it all, it's very experimental. I think that's a good thing to sort of break away from that tradition and sort of that vibe. Okay, so because like it must be nice to have that sort of feeling of right, na yung sort of like that blank canvas and the tubes of paint, and then like from there sort of forming the full painting, like seeing it being formed from every brush stroke. No?
Yes, literally like everyone on the prod just like bringing their own paintbrush, bringing their own roller, and literally painting it all over.
We really pulled all the stops here. Like we pulled literally everything and everyone that we could contribute
Yeah.
to the whole product.
Yeah.
Even us, yung actors, like we looked into our own closets.
Yeah.
We were tasked to look for other stuff. I was looking for a wig for the longest time, but it was Chu's mind that was able to find that wig for me. So yes,
Shout out Beo Jose.
thank you.
He was here last week.
Love that.
But so yeah, like I think beyond it all, like me and Kat joke about it, how Kat's like college like systems kind of merge together on her prod, because Kat's not just a member of Ateneo Blue Repertory, she's also part of Tanghalang Ateneo, and she's also part of AMP. And then when you see the company for this entire prod,
Yeah.
it's like the weirdest mix and match of like all three, because like you have like TA and Blue Rep taking over like those head positions, those cast positions. But then you have people from AMP who just heard it from Kat na parang, I have a thesis prod and I really need manpower. And then a lot of people from AMP were like, you know what, if you're willing to teach us and you're willing to be patient, like we're G to help. So like a lot of our manpower and like first time theater practitioners. So it's been a very fun experiment for everyone.
Yeah.
In a kind of way, like it's sort of kind of a poetic way that sort of her different circles like come together and like sort of an amalgamation of her college experience, because that's basically what a thesis is, right? It's an amalgamation of everything of your college journey.
Synthesis.
Synthesis. Oh, that's so interesting.
Write that down.
It's noted, it's recorded, it's sent and delivered. Okay. So one last question before we go ahead. So this play was, I believe, was conceptualized many years ago.
Yes.
And it depicted the Philippines as a dystopia. Knowing what we know now, based on our present experience as members of Filipino society, how close do you think we are to that depiction?
Hopefully not too close. Like, I'm crossing my fingers and thinking, I hope no one ever gets to see the day that we live in such conditions. But having prods like this really reminds us of questioning figures or questioning authoritative figures and dissenting from like what we're being told to do. Because sometimes it's so much easier to just follow rules or like abide by what
Obedience.
obedience. Like it's so easy, but the challenge really comes in with going against the grain and like seeing what you can do to like parang challenge the norm. And I really hope that we are not too close to that situation.
Yeah. Well, Tino's work reflects the conditions of his time.
Yeah.
And even though a lot of what's displayed in the play and a lot of what Kat has reimagined still rings true in the contemporary
Yeah.
times. It's always healthy to look at it as a reflection, and it's not really true to life
Yeah.
yet, but it is a like a foreboding warning that
Yes.
this is something that could happen. This is something that is currently happening, maybe in a primitive stage.
Yeah.
Not to the extent na what Tino displays in Ang Mga Kahon, but it's also like it serves as like a wake up call
Yeah.
for hopefully not just the people who worked on it, but for the audience who will watch it. It's a wake up call to kind of find the resolve to go against what you know is wrong, what you know is unjust, and to band together and fight for what's right, despite the fear that I know everyone has in this room or in this country does have, because not everyone, no human is 100% fearless.
Yes.
That fear comes into play, especially when you know that what you're fighting for is something that is dangerous, something that can be used against you by forces that have malicious intent.
Okay.
I think Jimmy and Chu said it best. It's warning that and a reminder that yun nga, it is possible, but we don't want to reach that point of like the dystopia that it depicts. Yun.
We can't wait for that to get to this level, the
Yeah.
place level. Yeah. And hopefully, because you guys had the privilege of seeing this play many, many times through the production process. So you guys were able naman to, process this better than I think the audience is going to process this question.
Yes.
Maybe, this is gonna be like a talking, like a reflection point for the audience. Yun. Cardinal Tagle has his reflection points. I have mine. So, yun. So, I guess for the audience, yun, how close do you think we are to what Cats play, what Ang Mga Kahon depicts? Yeah. So, before we go ahead, first of all, I want to thank you guys so much for coming over.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, yun, before we go ahead, where can they find you? Where can they find Ang Mga Kahon?
You can find Ang Mga Kahon on Facebook, Ang Mga Kahon 2023. While we're sold out, it doesn't mean that you can't support the production. We'll be announcing stuff like souvenir programs or and also post promotional materials from the show. So if you want to see snippets of how the process has been
Behind the scenes.
you can feel free to take a gander and look at the wonderful promotional materials created by our creatives team.
Yes.
Okay, now before we go, gusto niyo bang, you guys want to shout out anyone, like any people? You're already here, so might as well.
Shout out Katipunan. You can't be here, but we're so thankful for the opportunity you provided us. Like, your thesis kind of defined our January to April. Not gonna lie.
Shout out po Direk Kat Batara. Iba kat.
Iba kat. Oh, iba kat talaga.
Iba kat talaga. Exactly. Yes.
Shout out Kat. I love you, Kat. Best director ever.
Obviously, the Ateneo Musicians Pool,
Yeah.
Panghalang Ateneo, and Ateneo Blue Repertory for providing their members their wonderful skills that help make this prod a reality.
Tama.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Shout out din nga pala sa mga kasama nyo doon, si may the two days. Yun, I believe si Harvey, no?
Harvey's also
Harvey, yeah.
Harvey Bakit, yun. Kasi dati yung kasama siya sa Magis. So shout out Harvey. Ayun. Okay. Once again guys, Ang Mga Kahon ni Rolando Tino premieres tonight and runs until April 1. So thank you guys so much for coming over.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. When we come back, we'll be joined by Migoy Arroyo of LFC. He's going to be talking about Isa Pelikula, his production. That's right after these commercials. Join us after these commercial breaks. This is the Roundup.
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. Radyo Katipunan, 87.9.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Pagkabulidong hindi mapipigil sa pagbabalik ng lupat at tama. Sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, Ignacio, Katipunero, sugod, todo sa kayon, tulong at tulong.
Checking out the latest happenings in, around, and beyond Katipunan. This is the Katipunan Roundup.
Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM, the voice of the Blue Eagle. Welcome back to the Roundup, everybody. So, a while ago, we just had ang mga kahon ni Rolando Tino. We had Jimmy, Rai, and Christian. So, yun. Now, we are having a bit of an issue right now with our tech. So, for now, you guys won't be able to see us for the time being. But hopefully, if you guys can hear my voice, that's... yun lang, sapat na. Okay, so anyways, this Friday, LFC, or the Loyola Film Circle, will be having one of their key events, which is Isa Pelikula. And we're here now with one of the people behind that, I believe, one of the people in Isa Pelikula. We have, and also one of the people behind New Wave. Yun, sa mga shows natin dyan, which is normally after this, 5 p.m. But yun, Max is currently on break right now. But here, joining us now is Migoy Arroyo. So Migoy, welcome to the Roundup.
Thank you for having me.
Yun. So tell us more about Isape. Isa Pelikula for those people that don't know.
For those of you who don't know, Isa Pelikula is like this annual sort of mini film festival among the members of Loyola Film Circle. So every year, they round up members of the org, and everyone who joins gets to make a film, and they'll show it at the Culminate, which is gonna happen this Friday. So,
yun. And I understand, how many productions are there? I remember,
I think there are four.
Four. And then, yun, so 4. And then one of them is one that you got to direct, I believe.
That's true.
It was Bata Nilunod, Kinalimutan Ka Na.
Yeah.
So tell us more about that. What's that film about?
Well, the story follows 2 victims of a flood. So that's Niel and Mercy. And Niel is an LGU messenger. His job is to evict Mercy from her home, but Mercy doesn't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like these 2 polar opposite characters who are both victims, and they find a connection over finding the remains and toys and trinkets of their loved ones washing up in the river.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the basic premise of the short film.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I saw the trailer, and yun nga, some mga notable places talaga from Marikina River, but I really like how, oh my God, sino yan? Guys, by the way, yan po yung yung isa sa mga boss, si Maxine Cruz ng New Wave. She's visiting. Hello. Yun. Anyway, so, yun nga, the thing is, kasi, di ba, isa pa, you guys are on your own, you guys produce a lot of, and, one of the things I saw talaga in LFC is sort of, that passion to create.
Oh, yeah.
And sort of that, it shows, you guys are giving your all, talagang, because when I see Marikina River, when I see that like by river banks, and you guys give it a whole new angle in the film. Tell us about like the process behind making this film.
A lot of it was actually on the fly. So first you had the usual pre-prod, prod, and now we're currently editing the film in post-prod. But we took hours for pre-prod because me and my co-writer Dorothy Chu, we really wanted to make this something special because I've always wanted to make a film about a place because I feel like the cities in the Philippines, at least in Metro Manila, are very distinct. So Manila won't have the same vibe as Quezon City or Marikina. So
yeah,
I wanted to make it. I wanted that to be a standout point for it. So we really spent a lot of time working on the script and the story, but then we didn't have much time for production itself. So a lot of our shots were on the fly. We'd make it up as we go along. We had like I think 3 days just in Marikina, just shooting our actors in different locations. So a lot of it was like that.
Who's in the play? Because tell us about like who's
So we have Patrick Ong and Lynn Salilas and Marco Ibanez and Ian Bundok. He's also
Marco and Ian.
Those are the stars, just the cast of the short film.
Oh my god. Yeah, Ian, who also is here right now as an intern, tapos kaka-DJ lang niya kanina. Yan. And then Marco, of course, our friend from years I guess from LFC, and then ako naman from Bluebird Improv. Yan. So what like any memorable moments from the production or like
I think there was a lot of memorable moments for me. I think number one would be I had a lot of fun scripting and just making the story with my co-writer. I think we had this like nagbabanggaan kami minsan because I think we think very differently, but usually when you need someone to bump heads with you in order to make something better. So even if we bumped heads a lot, I think there were moments where I would have an idea and she would have an idea, and we'd argue over
what idea would get into the final cut.
And I think it's through those bumping of two ideas that you get a third idea that you never would have thought of alone. And so there was a lot of those moments because usually I write alone. So it's just what I say goes. But now it's like because there's someone to bump heads with me. There's a lot of aha moments. Yeah, this is really good. This is something else that we could do that we couldn't have done alone.
Sort of the alchemy of compromise.
Yeah.
Which is a nice, it's a nice feeling na sort of because it starts off with you two in conflict over what idea, and then just all of a sudden like having that eureka moment together.
Yeah.
And then sort of it adds more to the movie. I was about to say play. Sorry, we've had like how many plays on this show, but yeah. Yun. So, how are you feeling about Friday? Because like it premieres on Friday na.
It does, yes. I'm a bit nervous because our deadline's actually today.
Oh my god.
So
let's go. No, I told you I do that joke every episode when I head out of the studio. Sorry, but yeah, like the deadline's today.
The deadline's today, later at 11:59. But I have full faith in my crew. Our DOPs, Janina and Robbie Kang, they were very, very good, very professional about their work. And
oh wait, Janina is from ABCom, no?
yes,
yeah. Shout out Janina. Hello. Yeah.
As well as our editor, he's Augusto Adre. I'm not sure.
Yes, and I got to work with him last year's directing thesis. Yeah, thesis prod. Yes.
Also very, very professional.
Yeah, truly. He's a great guy. I know, like the sort of sorry, one of the things is like the network of people. Yeah, not the nail. Ayun. Right, I wanted to talk about the sort of the concept behind the film. Like, how did you come about that concept of like the river, the flood?
I think a lot of it was bumping heads with my co-writer.
So it's still that
It's
also.
still that. It's still that. I really was obsessed with the idea of making something in Marikina because I find Marikina very interesting because it's flood prone, but it's also the cleanest city in the Philippines, or it's said to be the cleanest city in the Philippines, right? And usually when you think of flood prone, you think lots of litter, you think the drains are clogged, but that's
Yeah.
not the problem here. It's the architecture because everything is going down, right?
Yeah, it's the architecture. It's the sort of the irrigation. You say? I don't know.
I'm not
but
sure
like,
about that, but
But
yeah.
it's I know it's flood. So this like the city has interested you. It could have been a movie about shoes. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I understand Marikina kasi as like that's the one thing they talk about a lot in the news is that they're watching the river
Yeah.
and they're watching the flood.
They have like markers on their electrical posts to measure the
water level.
height of the water level.
Yeah, and then they have to open the floodway if ever. Because I remember I had to cover for that for RK. Whereas like we had to cover like if the river would get to 18 feet
Yeah.
or 18 that's an 18 marking because like 18 marking diba everyone has to evacuate.
Yeah.
As in they're forced not to evacuate. Yeah. So your idea was what was Dorothy's idea naman?
It was because the process was, this is usually my process when I work alone. I write a bunch of things and then I try to make it work later.
Mhm.
So I told her, let's write a bunch of things. Let's try to make it work later. Let's make it cohesive later. So the first thing we ever wrote, I wanted to write something about Marikina. She wanted to write something very magical realism because that's sort of her specialty, like the fantastical things. So there would be like snippets of fish in her bits of the story.
Shape of Water. No, I'm just kidding.
And so eventually we had this idea of what if the government was turning people into fish? And you had this one character who was halfway between a fish and a man. So he's like, the fish are the victims and the government are the predators. And halfway you have the people who, because this man was a LGU messenger, he would evict people from their homes. So he's halfway between the victim because he's a pawn of the government, but he's also still preying on the fish. So he was a monster, a shokoy.
The merman.
The merman, yeah, exactly. Shout out pala to our production designer Yumi Abes who
Yumi!
designed our shokoy.
I haven't seen Yumi! Mark and Yumi, gosh.
Yeah.
Love them. Yun. So, it's nice that you guys were able to come up with this. And on Friday, they're finally gonna get to see it. And I'm sure people are excited, as well as the other prods. But yun, sige. So, once again, the event is on Friday. Where, like, what time and where is it gonna be at?
I'm not so sure actually. That sounds horrible, but I'm not sure. I think the details aren't finalized yet because they're still thinking of holding it online in case of the strike. So the details aren't finalized.
Then I guess I shall check. Let's go to the LFC page in the meantime. You guys can give them a like. In the meantime, you guys can also, while you guys are giving a like to LFC, you can also give a like to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Like and follow at Radyo Katipunan. And subscribe to our YouTube, youtube.com/Radyo Katipunan FM. Don't forget the FM. Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's 5:30 to 8. And it's at Farah AVR.
All right.
Okay. And so if you guys want to get tickets, you guys can go to bit.ly/isape23 culminite reg. So that's isape ISAPE 23 culminite CULMINIGHT and then REG. Yan. So before we go ahead, would you like to greet anyone now? Like mga pagbati?
Oh yeah, shout out to my girlfriend, Gail D. She's been supporting me throughout. In my most stressful moments and in the lowest of my moments, she was there for me. So I hope you're doing okay.
That's so sweet. Oh my god, it's making me sick. No, I'm kidding. But yes, oh my gosh, Miguel, thank you so much for coming here. And on short notice as well.
No problem.
But thank you so much. All right, so before we go ahead, just a reminder for everyone that this is our last show of the day. And that tomorrow you can still catch the Takalikasan, baka naman pwede, and Chaplains on air. And then on Friday, Kwentuhang Bayan and Level Up. Just a heads up, there will be no roundup next week, as it is Holy Week, so we're just gonna rest for a bit. But yes, if you would like your event featured on the roundup, email us at radyokatipunan@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Radyo Katipunan. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Radyo Katipunan or go to youtube.com/Radyo Katipunan FM. Don't forget the FM when you're on YouTube. And then you can listen to us at 87.9 FM within 2 kilometers of Ateneo. So I checked. I think we're able to reach Marikina. There you go, Marikina. You can listen to us. It's amazing. You can also listen to us online wherever you are at zeno.fm/RK879FM or on the Zeno Radio app available in the App Store and Google Play Store. All right. We're having a bit of issues right now with our... Oh, no, never mind. No, I think we're all good. So, yeah, and so anyways, that is it for the roundup. I'm Teo Ricaforte. Hope you guys are doing okay. Have a fantastic Wednesday and a good rest of the week. Until then, see you guys. Bye! At any moment we'll go. Oh, wait, hold on. We might be having some issue. Oh, there we go. There it is. Bye!